Madam Clerk, the time is 7 p.m. I'm going to call this council meeting to order. Town of Aurora acknowledges that the Anishinaabe lands on which we live and work are the traditional and treaty territories of the Chippewas, Georgina Island, as well as many other nations whose presence here continues to this day. As the closest First Nation community to Aurora, we recognize the special relationship the Chippewas have with the lands and waters of this territory. They are the water protectors and environmental stewards of these lands, and as a municipality, we join them in these responsibilities. We further acknowledge that Aurora is part of the treaty lands of the Mississaugas and Chippewas recognized through Treaty Number 13, as well as the Williams Treaties in 1923. Shared understanding of the rich cultural heritage that has existed for centuries and how our collective past brought us to where we are today will help us walk together into a better future. Council, can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Councillor Thompson, Councillor Weiss, any comments or questions? Call the vote. Everyone put their votes in. Councillor Gardner, how do you vote? Councillor Gardner's yes. That carries. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we have no community presentations, no delegations. Consent agenda. Someone want to move the consent agenda? Councillor Gilliland, second Councillor Kim. Any comments or questions on the consent agenda? Call the vote. Carries. Are any items that anyone wants pulled? Councillor Gardner?
8.8.1.
Okay. Anyone else? Councillor Weiss?
8.3.2 and 8.4.2.
Eight point 3.2 is third party events, correct?
Right.
Thank you. No, that's 3.2. Okay. Councillor Gardner? Anybody else? Councillor Gallo?
8.4.3, please.
8.4.2,
Point
3.
8, sorry. 8.4.3.
Okay.
Are we doing 9 as well?
No. That's something's been pulled, so I'll probably just put them together.
Sorry?
The item in the 8s has been pulled that has to deal with, so I'll probably put them together.
So 9.1.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Anyone else? Yeah, motion to approve remaining items excluding 8.3.2, 8.4.2, 8.4.3, 8.8.1, and 8.8.3. Councillor Gilliland, second Councillor Kim. Call the vote. Carries. 8.3.2, Councillor Weiss, you moved this, did you? Or you pulled this, did you want to move the recommendation? Thank you, seconder. Councillor Thompson. Go ahead, Councillor Weiss.
So my only question on this had to do with the definition of a third-party events, and I saw a list here that did not include sport tourism and sporting events, and I just want to ask through you to Ms. McDougall if it would qualify as a third-party event, or is it a size? Is there something having to do with sport tournaments that are not in there? So through you to Ms. McDougall.
Ms. McDougall.
Here, Mr. Mayor, this is less applicable to an event such as a tournament. It's more applicable to where there may be alcohol involved. So if a tournament were to have a gathering, that would where this policy would be applicable to that component, but not for their tournament, as it were.
Okay,
Councillor.
that's it. Thank you. Just wanted clarity.
Any other comments, questions? Call the vote. It carries. 8.4.2, Councillor Weiss, you pulled this. Did you want to move the recommendation?
Thanks.
Seconder. Councillor Gilliland. Go ahead, Councillor Weiss.
Yeah, and it just is a follow-up from the Committee of the Whole. And I want to thank Mr. Ramuno for getting back to me on the issue and explaining that in 2026, there is going to be activity on the level crossings and an assessment done. It was identified as completed before, and it's not really completed. It's still pending. So as long as that gets changed through, so through you to Mr. Ramuno, just to confirm that.
Mr. Ramuno.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. I mean, the pending list, we identify the complete because we provided a report, but Council, you're correct. We are, Nancy Fleming is working on a report in the new year on the analysis of the safety requirements to implement the next steps.
Councillor.
That's it. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Call the vote. That carries. Next, we have 8.4.3. Councillor Kelly, you pulled this. Did you want to move the recommendation?
So far.
Okay, seconder. Councillor Gilliland. Go ahead, Councillor Kelly.
I'd like to put the original motion on the floor with a small amendment.
Sure.
You want to hear the amendment or?
Yeah.
In the terms of reference, under reporting, it says the manager of human resources will provide the recommendations of the consultant to council through a staff report to committee of the whole. I'd like to add to that the manager of human resources will provide a recommendation of the consultant and the committee's feedback to council through a staff report to committee of the whole.
So you'd like to put the original recommendation to create a committee in the terms of reference?
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Second.
add that to the terms of change that to the terms
Is
of
there a seconder? Not seeing a seconder, Councillor. Oh, you're seconder? Okay. Not a seconder. Did you get that? Councillor, can you just repeat that amendment that you had to the original recommendation?
Sure. So under membership in the terms of reference, sorry, under reporting in the terms of reference, the first paragraph there, I'm just adding after consultant, I'm adding and the committee's feedback.
Did you get that? So seconded by Councillor Weiss, not by, I don't believe, Councillor Gilliland, you didn't second that, did you? Yeah, but you didn't second this. No, okay. Councillor Weiss seconded this amendment. Just waiting to get it up on the screen first, Councillor. Just so everyone can have an understanding of what's being put on in front of us. Ms. Allen? Good. Any comments, or questions to the amendment? Councilor Gillen, to the amendment?
Thank you. Originally, I had asked to receive because from my understanding, by receiving the information, essentially all that meant was there would be no committee because we've already had a committee determine what the council compensation would be. And the whole purpose of this was there was a motion brought forward by the mayor to have a consultant review and third party come in and make their recommendation. As far as I understand from staff, that the report that's being presented today was essentially to enact another committee. And I felt that it was appropriate just to receive because I feel that we've already had this process took over a year with people from the community. And this next step is really just to take the consultant's work and co-reference that with all the other data and come back with recommendations. I would prefer just to receive this information, allow the consultant to do its work. And we have the data already, and I'm sure that the consultant's also going to do additional work. That's what we're paying them to do. $25,000 actually, estimated. I won't say that's like set in stone. And it's not unusual for other municipalities to bring in a third party to do this type of data collection and recommendation. And in fact, from my conversations in the past, last couple of years ago with HR and other municipalities, when we first talked about council compensation, that a lot of the trend was going towards percentiles to determine what the fair compensation value would be versus percents or dollar values and so forth. And I know an example of that was in Vaughan. They did that as well based on recommendations at 75th percentile. So I'm interested to see what the consultant comes back with. At the end of the day, when the consultant comes back with the recommendations, at that point in time with council, we can make that decision whether or not we approve, receive, or whatever we're going to do. But I do believe we already have that information. And I certainly feel that the consultant's going to do the job that we hire them to do. So I maintain the receive for information at this time. That's just my preference.
Councilor Gallo, to the amendment?
Thank you. I respectfully disagree. In fact, my next motion, if allowed, will be to remove the consultant and just have staff and a committee come back with a report. So that's why I'm attempting to adjust this slightly so that at least the committee, we can see at the council table the committee's feedback versus just the consultant, even though I won't be in agreement with hiring a consultant. I think our staff is more than capable, and I think our residents are more than capable of putting this information together and providing a report to us to make a decision for the next council. That's why I have this on the floor.
Councilor Reese, to the amendment?
Yes, yeah, thank you. And I see both opinions. I was concerned more that we were not going to have resident input into this because the last time we had resident input, I thought they did a fantastic job, as well as the manager of HR who was on that committee. So I felt that they had done a good job, and I think that could be duplicated. And I was going to ask about the $25,000 and the involvement of a consultant. So I'm in favor of this, but I'm also interested in not having the consultant to be in there because I don't think we need both of those because we have competent and respected staff here that worked with a committee last time, and the results of that committee I thought were fine, and so did the majority of council. Be happy to hear more from others. That's it for me.
Any other comments or questions to the amendment? Call the vote. Councillor Weiss? That fails. Back to the main motion. Councillor Gallo, you have the floor.
Well, just a point of order, I guess. If that failed, does that mean there's no committee and therefore we have no choice but to have a consultant?
You could still make an amendment to remove the consultant. It's your choice.
Well, I think someone should be looking at council compensation. If all I'm asking is it a moot point for me to remove the consultant if we want to review council compensation and there's no committee anymore?
Let's say if you want someone to review, yeah, you would need someone to review it, but you still have the option to remove the consultant if you so choose.
I'm happy to put a motion forward to remove the consultant and have staff without committee at this point provide a report.
To have staff provide a report. Okay. Is there a seconder to that? It's to remove the consultant, and have staff to report back on compensation. Second by Councillor Weiss. Any comments or questions to the amendment? Councillor Gilran, go ahead.
Thank you. I didn't see it coming this way. I see that there is a lot of benefit from having a third party consultant come in and make this evaluation. I understand a lot of municipalities are doing it this way. It does remove a lot of the internal politics of it all. We have seen in the past how opinions can garner from all different sides, whether they're merited or not. And I do believe this is a real forward way of going with a process that eliminates that kind of question by having a third party consultant come in. We may not agree with the numbers. We may not agree with what the consultant has to say, but at least we as council have a chance to make that decision at the time that this comes. And I would like to believe that this consultant will want to have its own track record along other municipalities and make sure that they're hired again to make informed decisions on recommendations that they feel are appropriate. I have asked other municipalities who have used this type of service, and they have all said that it's been a successful, smooth way of moving through the motions. And I certainly want to give that a try.
Councillor Gallo, to the amendment.
Thank you. I have absolutely no interest of spending $25,000. You know, it's somewhat hypocritical when this first came to us through a committee's recommendation to spend money on our salaries. It was vetoed, and now we're spending $25,000 to figure out how to address our salaries. It just doesn't make any sense to me. More than capable staff. I wish there was a committee to oversee that, but that's fine. Staff are more than capable of figuring this out. It's really what it ends up being is math. I believe we should be at the 50th percentile. I always believe that, and you know, that's not very difficult to figure out. And certainly, especially now more than ever, should not be spending $25,000 to figure that out. To me, that is a total waste of money.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on the amendment? Councillor Gardner, first time on the amendment.
Thank you. And I believe that I understand I know where Councillor Gallo is coming from. We want to save money wherever we can. But I would like to take this for one time arm's length and, well, the committee's arm's length, but having a consultant and possibly decide for the future about the percentile and really just not have anybody associated with the town be making this decision at this time, just because of what we've been through. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Thompson, first time to the amendment, please.
Through you to our CEO, Mr. Aurora-Leslie, are there any concerns from your perspective with having staff lead this process and report back to council?
CO.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I mean, whatever council's direction is, we'll follow it. We generally like to get outside consultants involved when we're looking at across the range of whether it's internal compensation or council compensation. We usually engage outside consultants who are familiar with the environment, but if we're directed, then we'll figure out how to gather what information we can and bring something back.
Council.
In terms of past practices, whether it be for council or for internal staff, do we typically bring on a consultant to be able to help verify that broad scope of information?
CO.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, we do for staff compensation, so that there's an outside party and it's not seen as self-serving by staff. Obviously, staff looking at council, it's not the same relationship as staff looking after other staff, so there is a bit of separation there. It's more to get the outside expertise and the knowledge of what's going on in the broader environment, but I guess it's something we could research on our own if need be.
Thank you.
Councillor Weiss.
Yes, I certainly see both sides of this, and I was, like Councillor Gallo, was interested in saving money if it was going to end up with the same result. But then considering what has been discussed around the table here, it may not be the wrong thing to do to make sure that one time that we're brought back to whatever the consultant brings back as an external objective report. And at the end of the day, it's going to come back to council anyway to be enacted. So we'll have an opportunity to judge that based upon the report. So I'm thinking that this may not be a bad thing for this one time to pay for this consultant to have that objective and professional view. So I'm leaning towards not supporting this, even though I seconded it. I see both positions, but I think it's time for some objectivity. And as long as that's arranged, I think I'll be happy with this.
Councillor Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had very capable staff and citizen committee do this last time. And it's just, well, we all know what happened. So I would like to have an outside consultant come in and look at this. And I don't like to spend the money, but I think this is a place to spend the money.
Councillor Gallo to the amendment.
Thank you. Just to be clear, this will be the first time we'd be spending money on a consultant to do this. We certainly didn't last time, as we all would remember. And Councillor Thompson, you should probably remember the time before that. We did not get a consultant. It was all done internally through a committee, and you were there. So this is very new. And in my view, if the majority want it, so be it. Unnecessary spending of money. Our staff is more than capable of doing this, as they did last time, as they did the time before that.
Councillor Kemp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Mr. Addison, besides looking at what the 50th percentile is throughout the region, can you verify what are the other variables or factors that consultants will be looking at that perhaps, or information as well, that internal staff would not have access to?
So,
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I believe the scope of the work of the consultant was to include basically the list of things that council considered the last time, beyond just the salary itself, participation in pensions, benefits, all those expense levels, all that kind of stuff. So I believe it just paralleled basically what council had attempted to do back in, where it was 3 years ago,
Counselor,
to look at those factors and bring back a recommendation on each of those areas.
Yeah.
Counselor,
That's all. Thank you.
any other comments, or questions to the amendment? Call the vote. Carries. Eight point one. Pardon? Oh, main motion is amended. I apologize. Councilor Gillen, did you want? I don't know. I got your name up on the screen. Sorry. Okay, main motion as amended. Call the vote. Okay. Carries. Eight point one. Councilor Garner, you pulled this one. Did you want to move the recommendation? No, someone want to move the recommendation on this one? This is Wellington Street West. Councilor Gillen, thank you. Seconder? No seconder? Councilor Kemp, thank you. Go ahead, Councilor Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I was not able to attend the meeting last week, but I did have a chance to view it on the weekend. And I think Councillor Gilland is quite right in complimenting the developer. They made a lot of changes, changes for the good. My point is more, I'm looking at what the report says and what I know, that it's detached or single detached dwellings east, west, and south of this. So east and using Wellington, south of Wellington. And I think this is just too dense. There's no affordable housing included in this. It's maybe that would be a saving grace. It says in the report that the applicant will work with staff through the site plan process to explore options and strategies to support the town's affordable housing goals. I'm that's never worked in the past. So we've had lots of opportunities with developers. Even we had incentive at one point in the Municipal Act or in the Planning Act. So it is too dense with respect to what their neighbors are. And I think it's too dense for the moraine. I know that there is the correct borders for the EP, Lake Simcoe has proved that, but the moraine is precious, and I think we have to err on the side of what would be best for it. And I don't think a housing development this dense is appropriate. And I don't think it's appropriate for what we see in the neighborhood at the moment. So I will have to vote against it. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on this one? Vote. That carries. 8.8.3, Councilor Gardner, you pulled this. Did you want to move it?
No, thank you.
No. Anyone want to move this one? Councilor Kim, seconder. Councilor Gilliland, thank you. Go ahead, Councilor Gardner. Oh, and I apologize. I'm going to add 9.1 to this to receive. It's additional information on this one. So it's going to be added on to receive. Is that okay, Councilor Kim? Councilor Gilliland, second. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Councilor Gardner.
Discussion was very interesting around this. My problem is with removing the H, the holding. We have a lot of developments in line with the H, and Mr. Muno couldn't correct me if I'm wrong. We have a lot of developments waiting that have the H on them. And this is a new one. So I think it should definitely have the requirement of holding, notwithstanding the new servicing that's coming down from the region. I just think in fairness, the H has to stay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other comments or questions? Councilor Gallo, go ahead.
Thank you. Just on that, to you, Mr. Mayor, could you just update us on what happened at the region? You'd mentioned that last Thursday, the region was going to be discussing allocation. Could you just update us on the status of that, please?
Yeah, there's a quick discussion. It got approved. There's some minor adjustments I think some of the municipalities are looking at. So this Thursday at council, there'll be a further discussion and then a ratification of the direction that council decides to move forward in.
Can you update us on what that direction is? Is there a tiered system? Do we have allocation? Don't we have allocation?
I mean, as I mentioned last week, it's a mix of all three. There's the report shows allocation that we've already given out to I think it's about 6,000 people. We have 1,600 people persons starting as of essentially right now. And then we have another 7,800 that's coming to us, and it's a matter of over a year period of time. There's going to be some things that transpire as far as how we move forward, and that's some of the discussions that's occurring for Thursday council. So I could have news that some of it might open up a bit earlier as far as immediately. Some might open up a little bit later. Those are the discussions that we're having at council.
So I share the concern in terms of, and I have no issues with this. I'm content, 95% content with the going from business park to residential. I'm satisfied that we have enough employment lands. I'm not convinced that no one else will show up and want to do the same thing, and we may or may not be able to accommodate. But I'm stuck a little bit on this concept of allowing one application move forward as opposed to others. I did reach out to Mr. Muno, and he did give me a list of 4 other developments in town, totaling about 1,200 units that have an H currently on them. So in light of that, I'd like to make an amendment that this clause 3, at least the H part of clause 3, be postponed until January with a further report from Mr. Ramuno outlining this as well as other applications that have holdings on them, and make a recommendation on which ones, especially if we know by then that we have more than we think we have, to report to us and advise to us which applications he believes the H holding should be removed.
Seconder. Councilor Gardner. To the amendment? Counselor Weiss?
Ramuno, could you give me the consequences of not removing the H from this application at this time? Can you see any negative consequences to either party through you to Mr. Ramuno?
Mr. Ramuno?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I mean, if council decides to keep the H on the zoning bylaw, we'll present the zoning bylaw for enactment in January for council. And at that time, I think we'll have we can have a report ready with respect to the status of a servicing allocation that we currently have available, and also include the recent regional report and the additional allotment that they will be providing to municipalities. So we can certainly spell out, status of applications, which ones are in the pecking order, which applications, as Councillor Gallo mentioned, we've got 3 or 4 applications that have H's on them. But as I mentioned last week, if council decides to direct staff not to implement the H on this application, I think we do have a small reserve of allocation that we could provide for this development. We know that they are definitely anxious to get moving. And my understanding is if council approves the OP and zoning bylaw, they will move quickly and proceed to market and servicing the site as soon as the spring.
Counselor?
Thank you.
Counselor Thompson?
Thank you. Through Mr. Moreno, I mean, that was really my question. I wanted to understand the timelines. You kind of addressed it by saying that they are looking to move quickly, to be able to go to market, service, and build, if that's correct. With respect to some of the other properties that have an H holding on it, to the best of your knowledge, are they also knocking at your door looking to move quickly? Or, is this a case where most likely they would be this particular development would be the first one to get the shovels in the ground?
Mr. Romano?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. No question with this developer, Treasure Hill, we know they are anxious and they can deliver. As I mentioned to Council Gallo, the other 4, 2 of them are relatively small applications. One was the 2529 George Street, 4-story building, 33 units that council approved, I think, just last month. They haven't come to us with their timing to move forward. The other 2, the larger ones, are phase 2 of Smart Centers, the former Canadian Tire site. Phase 1, they've got allocation, about 500 units. So they're not pushing for phase 2 allocation because, again, they haven't moved forward yet on phase 1. And the other big one that has a hold on it is the northeast corner of Industrial Parkway and Wellington, the old Metropolitan Square site. It's 4 buildings, 12 stories, total of 950 units. So there's an H on that property. However, they have allocation for approximately 224 units from the original 8-story proposal. So they have that. But they do, they have called recently looking for additional allocation. But again, in that instance, we don't have a site plan yet from them.
Councilor?
Thank you. So I guess if I kind of interpret what you're saying, it sounds like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ramuno, that if council were to decide to remove this H, you feel that Treasure Hill would move quickly to build this development and create homes next year. But it also sounds like, and again, through you, Mr. Ramuno, that you don't feel that it would prevent other applications that currently have the H from moving forward based on allocation. Is that fair?
Mr. Romano?
Through Mr. Mayor, that's fair. And again, council always has the prerogative. If, for instance, any applicant sits on their allocation for too long, we could always withdraw it. And again, in that report in the new year, we will spell out a couple of the applications that do have allocation that have been sitting on it for a number of years. Perhaps we may want to consider withdrawing it from them. But again, I don't have an issue with moving forward with the application before us this evening. They are committed, and in January we'll provide some additional information on remaining application and status of some of the other applications that have received approval and may have allocation, and those that don't.
Counselor?
Yeah, I guess for me, I mean, we often talk about the fact that we have a lot of units approved, but nobody's building. We'd like to see more building. We didn't see a lot of building this year. That's created some problems with us with regards to finances and development charges and fees and so forth. Here we have somebody that it sounds like is ready to move forward and build. I personally don't see a reason to delay that based on the fact that it sounds like it won't preclude or prevent other developers who have similar situations from moving forward with plans if they so choose. So I personally don't see any reason to further delay this, and hopefully they'll get shovels in the ground sooner rather than later.
So Gardner, second time to the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Mr. Muno, I think, well, Young and Murray, I think we communicated that the market isn't right and they're waiting. So that's apartment rentals or condos, not sure which. What about the hole in the ground at Young and Irwin?
That property's up for sale right now.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, so they don't want the water allocations.
That's one that we might actually come back. I think Mr. Rumino might come back where we might be looking at actually pulling that allocation at some point if they're not moving forward and no sale has occurred. That's one that, I mean, I think Mr. Rumino is going to be coming with a report with some projects that have been stalled and they're not moving forward, and where we would look at reallocating some of the allocation to other projects that are looking at moving forward. I mean, ultimately, I think as Councillor Thompson mentioned, you know, we want to make sure that when we approve something that they put the shovels in the ground. And I think that's what we all agree on that.
Thank you for the clarification. Whenever a developer comes to us, they all say that they're ready to go. So with the water allocation at Young and Irwin, I mean, maybe we can get something on the market that is not a house. We don't have enough rentals or condos going on here. We do have a lot of homes, fairly expensive homes, really expensive homes. So I still would like, I'm still in favor of doing the H.
Thank you. Councillor Gallo, second time to the amendment.
Thank you. I just want to be crystal clear on my perspective. I have no issues removing the H on this. I have absolutely no issues with development moving forward and building as fast as they possibly can. In fact, I'm trying to promote the removal of all the H's on all of the applications that have come before us to get shovels in the ground as quickly as we possibly can. My only angle on this is to provide equity amongst everyone that put applications forward to this table. That's all I'm trying to do. And just through you, Mr. Mayor, in terms of process, this would come back anyway in January, I assume in January, as a bylaw that we would eventually vote upon. Is that correct?
Mr. Romano?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, correct. The zoning bylaw will come forward in January.
So if we were to proceed with what I'm recommending, can we not, once we have all the information, make that same decision that we want to make tonight in January, and no time is wasted? We would have the bylaw before us. We would have to probably adjust the bylaw to accommodate for this and move forward without wasting any time and having all the information in front of us. Does that make any sense through you, Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Romano?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So just on process, if I come forward with a bylaw with an H on it in January, and council then directs me to remove the H, we would then have to probably come back with a new bylaw at the next meeting to make that change.
Council?
Just through you, Mr. Mayor, just for clarity, why can't we make the change at that meeting at that time?
Mr. Romano?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I mean, a good question that's never come up before. So I'll present a bylaw drafted for council's passing, and it'll be labeled with an H. So council, if you direct me to pass that bylaw subject to, that amendment, removing it, that, I may have to seek advice from the clerk. That may still work. We would then, go back the next day, redraft the bylaw and present it to the mayor and clerk for final signing. That may work as well. I'll have to confer with the clerk on that though.
Counselor?
I think that approach is a win-win for everyone. We're not wasting any time. We're having all the information in front of us and options. In fact, I hope at that point we can say, let's remove the H's on all of these because we have more allocation and we can get all of these projects going and shovels in the ground. And it's not wasting any time for this particular application, which is not my intent at all. That's my view on this.
Okay. Counselor Gilliland to the amendment.
Thank you. Just listening to all angles and all sides, and through Mr. Mayor to Mr. Ramuno, from what I'm hearing from you is that with the projects that are on the go per se, that this is the one project that you feel that removing that H is most likely going to move forward, and nobody else is clamoring to have that removed. And I say this because if we are going to wait for a report, if we're going to be approving the exact same thing, we could still wait for this report and we could still remove this H at the same time. If our objective is to move this along quickly, I kind of feel and sense that we're probably going to make that decision anyway. But I think it's healthy to still have this report come back. But I don't necessarily know that if by holding this up is going to be necessary. So through you, Mr. Mayor to Mr. Ramuno, again, like with all the projects that we have right now with the H holding, I believe you said, is it 4?
Mr. Moreno?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes. And the two big ones, as I mentioned, are the Smart Centers Phase 2 of Canadian Tire, and they're not asking for additional allocation. The corner of Industrial in Wellington, they would like the additional allocation, but in my advice to council is even with the region's additional allocation coming in January, we just don't have enough to give to that one project. That'd be an additional 730 units worth.
Councilor?
It's not to say that we can't allocate additional to them, but the entire allocation for that whole project would take quite a dent out of our reserve or any future allocation that we're getting from the region.
Councilor?
Thank you. I'm hearing all sides. I just feel that a report's great to have back, but I don't feel that holding back an H on this particular project is going to change much between now and January. I feel we're going to come to those same conclusions. I think this is just procedural, having that report. Yes, I would like to have the report, but at the same time, I don't think I want to hold up this particular project. I know the Smart Center project's probably really on hold from what I understand, and the allocation for the industrial parkway, as you said, we won't have enough anyway. But through Mr. Mayor and Mr. Ramuno, could we request to have a report anyway but not hold back the H on this? Is this something that we could still have in January?
Mr. Ramuno?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yeah, we are working on an update for council on servicing allocation for the new year, and I think it may be ready in January or early February. We're waiting for the final report from the region, but we know what the regional allotment is going to be. So yes, regardless of what happens here with this application, we will be providing an update to council in January or early February on the servicing allocation.
Councilor?
Thank you. And this will be obviously as a reaction from the decision that's been finalized from the region allocation that we will receive.
Mr. Ramuno?
Yes.
Councilor?
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions to the amendment? Councilor Ken to the amendment.
Thank you. Just to get some clarification, because I think there's some confusion in terms of the recent additional allocation given by the region. So through Mr. Mayor to Mr. Ramuno, for this particular, property in particular, my understanding is that we have the capacity to allocate the capacity with or without the additional regional capacity that was given to us, and that was given on condition and there has to be shoveled to the ground, which is not going to happen for a couple of years, possibly. So can you clarify on that in terms of, does this property do we have sufficient capacity to even give to this property, and that's where it's coming from?
Mr. Romano?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So aside from the allotment, the additional allotment we're going to get from the region in January, and that'll come with some conditions and some triggers occurring with respect to the regional expansion of the northern YDSS. We do have a small reserve of unused allocation that we can use for projects like this to allow these projects to go forward. So yeah, we would take the allocation from the reserve that we currently have.
Councilor?
And again, in January, we'll provide a detailed report with respect to what we have left, what we're getting from the region, and what we've allocated to previous applications, and how long some of the applications have been sitting on the allocation.
Councilor?
Thank you. And that really confirms my decision as to why the H can be taken off this property. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions to the amendment to postpone the H? No other comments, call a vote on the amendment. Mr. Kim? That fails. Back to the main motion. Councillor Thompson,
Nope, that's it.
any comments or questions? Councillor Gardner? Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It always makes me very uneasy when we change employment land to residential. And I think that I won't be voting for this.
Okay.
Especially with no age. Thank you.
Any other, Councillor Weiss?
Yes, I just want to thank Mr. Ramuno and staff for the work. I know we asked for a third party assessment on this, or a peer report, but I read through it, and I really appreciate the extra effort that was done on this. So I'm in favor of this.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Call the vote. That carries. New business. Councillor Kemp. Councillor Gallup. Councillor Thompson. What?
Just perhaps either Ms. Smith or Mr. Addison, just give us a brief update in terms of the blue bin, the swap out, in terms of, I guess, requests to the town, how are things essentially?
Who wants to start? Ms. Steenkamp? Thank you. I'll add, Councillor, I think that as of a couple of days ago, I believe Aurora tops the list is 39% of all requests to change have been from the town of Aurora, which equates to about 2,600 requests to change to the 65 gallon. As far as timing, I know that they're working on that. Maybe Ms. Steenkamp has a little bit more of an update on as far as when they're going to be actually physically changing those. Ms. Steenkamp?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have exact timing, but it's my understanding it was sometime in the new year.
They have the bins. It's just a matter of coordinating the exchange and when they're going to be doing. They're going to notify residents, and I'm sure Ms. Smith is, once we're all notified when they will be making that exchange, we'll make sure that we put out notification as well to the public.
So I can assume that our communication strategy is ongoing and continual and will be until well into January.
I see Ms.
Carly
Smith
nodding her
nodding
head.
yes, yes.
Thank you.
The deadline for which? No, you can put your requests in, and some circular materials actually they've put up on their communications that they're saying that they would like to see people maybe utilize the 95 gallon for a couple of months, up to 3 months, and then if they feel there's a need to exchange at that time. So the exchange process will continue for a while. Okay. Is that all, Councilor? Thank you. Councilor Gardner, any new business? Go ahead.
Thank you. I wasn't going to address this, but as it's come up, a lot of residents in my neighborhood, Ward 3, are upset that they can't have a much smaller bin. I know you were in a difficult position, but for example, mosaics, there's no place for them to keep even the size down. And there are other places in my ward, I'm sure all over, where the second largest bin is still too large. So that's just comments I'm passing on. It is, a lot of people are celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. If I miss something, let me know. So it's a very festive season. And I hope it will be really a season of light, of peace. I did watch the meeting, as I said, and Mr. Dean came forward with a delegation, and he asked a question that I thought was valid, and he didn't get a response. And it was about Councillor Gallo's motion, the 0% tax increase. In that motion, staff were asked to identify and recommend savings. And he asked what was the result of that. He didn't get an answer. I don't believe council formally had any information back on that. So could staff address this? As you know, if council makes a motion and it's approved and it's directed to staff, then
I'll correct you, Councillor. It wasn't a direction, it was a request.
a request. Well, it was a request that was
It was a
passed.
request to the mayor. And we, as staff and myself, worked through the entire budget. We did find efficiencies. We've noted, the budget was set at 2.9%, and we found efficiencies and looked for areas that we could actually reduce, and we came in with a 2.2%. So we did find those efficiencies.
Thank you. I'm sure the residents will thank you. I still think if somebody delegates and they ask a question like that could have been, I don't think that was the answer. I don't remember, but I don't think that was the answer that he was given. So if anybody comes to delegate on anything, they think that their questions need to be answered either at that meeting or at a follow-up public council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Gillen, new business. Go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Mr. Ramuno. I did try to touch base with you earlier on today, but I guess we didn't have an opportunity to connect. I just had some questions from the residents about the George Street lots, and I know that we had decided on the 6 versus the 7 for various reasons I don't want to rehash, but I wanted to confirm through you, Mr. Mayor, that the actual border lines that were presented in the report were just there for an example, that those actual border lines are not set in stone. And I say that because I know there were some individuals who were concerned about the depth of the lots and where it had landed on the slopes or the hill going down, and also some architectural design on the northeast side. And from what I understand, this is was there as an example of what it could look like, but the actual survey marks on where it was actually going to land would be later on in the process.
Mr. Romano.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, so we've done the survey. So aside from the direction from council to go to 6 70-foot frontage lots. We'll make that change, and that will be reflected in the bylaw in January. But the survey was done, and we went out in the summertime to stake the depths. They're approximately 200 feet in depth, all lots, and the rear lots basically go back to the just before the slope. So there is a chain link fence. So that's where the rear lots would end.
Counselor.
Thank you. Okay. So there were some concerns that the end of the property exceeded where the slope was, and that some members of the community still want to maintain the ability to access that area in order to the toboggan down to the park area and still be able to utilize it for public use. So maybe that was some of the misunderstanding.
Serrano.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yeah, that eastern portion will be part of our future park expansion, and the slope is part of the future town addition to the town park. So the proposed 6 lots are all relatively flat, and the rear yards end before the slope.
Counselor.
Thank you. And once this does come back, is there opportunity if we feel that if there was some, like there's room for moderation or slight change within those orders, if we found during the time when we split that it was appropriate, that we would do that? Or are we making that decision today? Because I didn't see anything presented to us with 6 lots. And so it's my understanding that if and when that does happen, we have that opportunity. And I'm asking because there was some comments made about the northeast corner, about some of the natural landscaping that was there. And would it make sense to accommodate that area to make some protections in place without compromising the size of the property or the marketability of the property?
Serrano.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I mean, again, to be honest, I don't think there's going to be a change in the depth of the lots. We've done the survey. We've been out there. I've been out there
I'm
as well.
sorry, the width.
Pardon?
The width. We're talking about the last lot, the width, the most northern one. So just some of the width with some of the things there beside the trail and some of the architectural stuff there. It can, perhaps maybe there's something we might consider. And I know, again, like we weren't presented with 6 lots. We don't know exactly what that looks like. And I just want to make sure that we have an opportunity to have some input should we want to make some changes specifically to that.
Serrano, when the bylaw comes, will you present a diagram showing
We
the
can do
widths
that.
and the depths?
We can do that in January when we bring forward the bylaw, and we'll have some additional information with respect to the dimensions on size and depths.
Okay.
Second.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you. So Reese, your business?
Yes, thanks.
Just one sec. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want
Go ahead.
I just want to thank Councillor Gartner for bringing up the issue of the delegate and his question. It could have or should have been done and dealt with last week when it was brought forward by the delegation. So I'm thankful you asked the question. That's it for me.
Good. Mr. Gallo, did you have some?
I did. It's kind of a half public service announcement and half question through you to Ms. Steenkamp in terms of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee ice rink to be. Just an update on when staff can get out there and flatten the snow and get it ready.
Steenkamp?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, from what I understand from staff, it'll be later this week or early next week.
Counselor.
Okay. And if there's any volunteers out there, we're happy to accept volunteers to put water on the rink.
Steenkamp, I might as well keep your mic on. I was just going to ask you, can you give us an update maybe on all the rinks right across when we're looking at setting them up?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So the curtain rinks that are the kits are actually being installed right now.
Okay.
So we hope to get water down next week sometime.
And those ones are at Ada Johnson Town Park and I believe one other one?
Mitchell.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Council. I forgot to add regional reports. So does someone want to move the regional report? Receive for information. Councillor Thompson, second. Councillor Weiss, any comments or questions on that? I'll call the vote. Carries. Bylaws. Someone want to move the bylaws? Councillor Weiss, Councillor Gallo. Comments, questions? Call the vote on the bylaws. That carries. Confirming bylaw. Someone want to move that? Counselor Gardner, Counselor Kim. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Motion to adjourn. Counselor Gilliland, Counselor Kim, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. And Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah